Hello and welcome. This is Dirnan playing Minecraft. Today we're playing on a Foolcraft 3 server. Today's episode I'm going to be creating some housing and just some general structures to go around this big box of a building. So I took the time to move the wall here up to a certain height and then moved in 4 or 5 blocks in from the wall in all directions until I ran into a few spots here and there where it just runs into the building. So this big stone brick part is where I won't build into, but I'll build houses, parks, various things up at this level that just sort of make it look like it goes into that building but not really part of it. Some of it will be tall and short and just filling in random spots, taking out trees, getting rid of horses, making it look more lived in, and that this is a walkway, not so much just a big box building sitting in the middle of this field. I'm not exactly sure how that'll look, how it'll turn out, but I'm thinking more along the lines of brownstone houses that are just one next to each other, and I'll build on whatever diagonal there is that exists here, not making front lawns, not making square boxes, but trying to get houses that build off of the terrain that's already been here. The wall was preset when I originally set up this building. I followed the contours of a certain height, and that was how I got, switching to the journey map, how I got this exterior border. And then from there I used the grid lines here to set up in these chunks in the game to set up where the building could be. So that's what I'm going to do in this episode. Trying to come up with a pattern here that I'll use for all the buildings, which I've done on a lot of the other projects, like the big clock tower here that, incorporated the blue and the woods and the white that kind of comes from these trees here. And I'm coming across these bricks, so light gray concrete and gray concrete in brick and trodden brick form, and the white concrete. But I really like how this brownstone and the light gray concrete kind of mix together. As you hover over it, it gets the box over it, but then when you're not looking, I do like that it flows well together. This is reinforced stone, which has a nice darker tone. I tried using stone, but that seemed a little too bright. So even with the white concrete, using the trodden brick, it adds more color into it instead of just being a flat white. I moved on to another sort of planning phase for these buildings, and I decided to follow the contour, as I said, and then just lay out a couple of levels of this just to get an idea of where the houses would be in this area. Just looking at how it looks, how it feels. I'll go back in and change the blocks out, but I needed to get the blocks up so I could see, like, oh, there probably should be a door. This looks like a good door. So if this was a door, then this would come up like that. Just kind of, alright, that's a house, and then there'd probably be a house here, so maybe this or this would be a door. Let's see, what would it look like with this door? And kind of gotta finagle it there. Take out these thingies there. Alright, so a door might be a little too symmetrical of 1, 2, 3 door. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out, but that's what I'm doing. Working on where the houses would be. So I picked this small little plot to the right of the main entrance here, knowing that it would be easy to kind of figure out as I'm going along what the idea would be. And yeah, I'm liking this a little bit. I might just put this back in just to see. Okay, be, and I'll work on it, and I'll be back. I've made a few changes as I've been going through. I tried building it with the white concrete, and that gave me an idea of where the door should be, and I moved the door over here just thinking that it would, you know, the building actually goes into this building, but it just looks like it doesn't, type thing. And then I tried using the palette that I had before, but it really didn't work for me. I put it up and it just looked really patchworky. So I've got this palette, which I kind of like, mainly going with the light gray concrete and the trodden brick. I've got light gray concrete powder and some brownstone, and then still with the gray concrete and the reinforced stone. I took away the white, and then I had built up, you know, this section here of house, or houses, as 2 doors, but I couldn't put my finger on what I didn't like. It was just felt really patchy and didn't feel good. It just, yeah, I mean, a whole section of the same block doesn't look good, but with this chisel stuff, it kind of gives it tricks your eye into thinking it's not really one whole block. And then when you add in another block, I mean, this one's like a pillar and delineates this is a 1-story house and this will be a 2-story house. But yeah, it just wasn't working. It looked really like I had patchworked stuff together and it just didn't work for me. So I cut that out, and I still have to add the roof and figure out, you know, what goes back here, because, you know, the roof will come to a certain point, and then will this house be back here to kind of go up to this height? I haven't really decided if all the houses are going to go, you know, if any of them are going to be up this high, or if they're going to be short little squat things. I decided to keep this one small just because of this little existing blue wall that I had in, just to be a nice entryway for this giant thing that I had that it still works, but yeah, just trying to incorporate it into the new builds. I started on this side and I'm not sure how much I'll get done, but here we go. And I've changed my mind once again. I couldn't find a good palette to go with because I'm using this chiseled look, so I decided I would just stick with the light gray concrete for most of the buildings, and then just change what chisel design it is. So most of it probably will be the trodden bricks, and then I'll start with that, and then I'll just intermingle some other stuff. So I was playing around with what other things kind of looked well. So we've got slanted, the zag, which these are, you know, just kind of follows a pattern in the zag. There's cracked, and then there's cracked bricks, and slanted again. So slanted even has different designs amongst itself, because it creates a pattern in amongst its own stuff. So that's what I'm going to do, and if anything else, I will... Let's grab more concrete to decide if that'll look good. So grabbing the gray concrete and hitting this a bunch of times to go through. Excuse all the noise. Yeah, so maybe there'll be a building made out of gray concrete next to one that made out of light gray concrete to mix things up so that it's not all just one color. I don't really know how I'm going to add in color to the build. I had the idea of going with the magic door, but I don't have any magic wood, so I would need to build a void botanic miner. I have the resources to do that, so I can just work on that. When I was in here, I realized that this mod here includes these large doors. So I went ahead and changed this out at the tower for these big 3x3 doors. Just boom, opens up. I mean, there's not much in this building, but it just kind of adds to the feel, and based on how you place it, the doors always open the one way, as opposed to going out like a gate would, in and out. So I thought that added to the big feel of it, with the big doors. That being said, now I need to work on getting these buildings done, and I'll do that before I worry about getting the magic wood so I can build the certain door to add a little bit of color. And it might be that over here where I've decided this will be a little shop with a window, maybe that window will have some color in it, and not every single door needs to be the blue to go with it. Maybe the cherry door, or just a regular oak door. Some of these other doors that'll add color just to distinguish this building is certain height and then this building is certain height, and they've got different doors because they're different people live there. Yeah, so I'm excited to get into this now that I've come up with what I feel is a good design for going forward. I wanted to come back in and show you an example of what I was envisioning for these buildings. Just sort of a hodgepodge of the different design chisels. This might be a little too busy for this corner here, but the way I'm going about it is you can pull up your chisel and then you right click and you can put in whatever block you want into there, and that's how you change it. But then if you leave it in there, then you can click on the block and it'll change it to that. So that'll be slanted now. And I'm just going through and kind of, you know, alright, that one's already cracked brick, but we're gonna change it to that. So that's how I'm going about. I'll build with the trodden bricks to get a framework done, and then add in the various aesthetics that it needs to have. Back at it, finishing up this first little stage. I created some little houses here. I'm trying to figure out if I need some sort of delineation between the buildings. On the inside I put a wall, and another wall over here, but on this side I've got a nice thing, a nice gray concrete brick chiseled thing that just kind of gives it, this is a house and this is a house, and maybe this is the second story to this house. But over here it's just, I don't know, is it okay that this two-story thing is next to this? I mean, this is obviously a different house. I'll put different colored doors, I guess, and then you can kind of tell, or when you go inside you'll see that it's different. Maybe I should change out those slabs? I'm not really sure, but this is what I've started, and I'll probably be done for this area for right now, and just slowly work on getting more of it done as I can wrap this around and it just sort of ends. And keep going. I do like how the roof line is changing, how it sort of works its way up to the second level, and then second level juts out a bit, and that kind of interlaces with this side. Yeah, so I'm liking how this is turning out. Now I just need to figure out how to do the rest, which, according to this, I've got a lot more to do. So, that's exciting. And then, yeah, I mean, this little corner's done. Need to put on doors, but like I said, I need the magic wood, which I need to get a tier 3, tier 6 botanic void generator thing to get the sapling for it. And then I can put it in, and I can show you guys the inside of here, where most of the storage lives. And then the refined storage. And then down below here is where the bonsai pots are that grow all the trees that I need. and they go into crates that then get sucked into... I'm sure they just go right into here. And then the ender chest goes this way and is duplicated over here, and that gets imported into the refined storage. Which reminds me, I need to hit that thing. That's just a chunk loader. This is the basement. I don't think I've ever shown this. And then up here is the display area where I've got all the medals that I've gotten from Foolcraft and various statues that I've won and old armor sets. I originally thought I'd just fill this all with stuff, and that's kind of what I've done. I mean, you'll notice some of them are empty. That's from when I needed to use, like, the Enderman statue, or a Shulker, or the Ghast statue in Project E things to get the Flight Ring, and this is where the Grid Power lives, which has another one up here that those things turn off after a while just to keep server load down. Yeah. So this is the big building that I'm building around the outside of. And that's the inside of it, kind of. A short little tour. I do like the oak. It's sort of plain, but I like the way it contrasts the concrete and the stone, and it just breaks up that what used to be a big stone brick wall, with now broken up concrete blocks. Okay, so I think that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. This has been Dirnan, playing Foolcraft.